Well, welcome to today's presentation, which is on fixing accessibilities issues with UDOIT. And UDOIT is a plugin for Canvas to help you with accessibility issues with your Canvas course. At the bottom left hand of the screen, you can scan that if you want to download copies of the slides. There will also be opportunities throughout the presentation to be able to do the same. My name is Mark Cooper, and I'm an instructional designer with the Instructional Technology Resource Center. And I joined ISU and the ITRC in 2017. I have 21 years of experience in instructional design, some of that here at the university and some in the private sector. So I bring expertise in instructional design, e-learning, and ways to make training systems scalable. I want to pass it over to my colleague, Lori Ostel.
I'm Lori Ostel. I'm also in the Instructional Technology Resource Center. And I put that I nerd out on writing measurable learning objectives and innovative assessments and activities. That's kind of what I enjoy about this job. I'm also an expert in accessibility, UDL, quality matters, all those good things. I've been tasked with coordinating the new watermark evaluation system. So if you have questions about that, I'm your person to contact. And I just love working with faculty on course design and research and these types of things. I'm happy to be here with Mark.
Thank you, Lori. Okay, so an overview of today's session is we're going to talk about why accessibility matters and what UDOIT is specifically and how that can help you to make your online courses accessible. We're going to show you how to run a scan in Canvas and fix some common accessibility issues. And then we'll talk about some accessibility practices for your course design. The goals today, what you'll learn are how UDOIT scans the course for accessibility and how to interpret the reports that come out of the scan, and then some common accessibility issues and why they matter. And then you'll be able to take away from this the ability to run UDOIT as a scan in your own Canvas courses, and then to be able to fix those issues and then apply those basic accessibility principles both now and in the future when you create courses. I'm going to pass it over to Lori to talk about why accessibility matters.
So the most important thing is it provides equal access for all users. Down below are just some of the ways that we can affect that for people with visual impairments, such as blindness, low vision, color blindness, auditory, deafness, hard of hearing. Cognitive would be learning disabilities, inability to remember or focus, have a typo, on large amounts of information. And then motor would be inability to use a mouse, slow response time, limited fine motor control. And so that's all affecting people using the mouse and navigating around on a page. So we'll talk more about that.
Okay, and that's really what it is all about, is providing equal access to all of your students.
And why does it matter? Well, for one thing, it's the law. The ADA Title II update will go into effect for us, for institutions of higher education, this year on April 24th. So we are quickly approaching the deadline, and that's why we wanted to get this information out to you so that you can be proactive about this. So it applies to all of our university website pages, mobile apps that students use, our learning management system. So anything in Canvas needs to be accessible. Our service portals, such as online form completions, all of the scholarship online forms need to be ready to be able to navigate through using arrow keys on your keyboard and not just relying on the mouse. So hopefully we are working on some of those internal systems as well. And then any videos need to be closed captioned, PDFs need to be accessible, images, digital resources, and we'll go into more detail on that here in a minute. So the main reason we're here is to talk about UDOIT. It is an acronym for Universal Design Online Inspection Tool. So it is a course level accessibility checker that scans all of your online course content, identifies accessibility issues, and guides course designers and instructors in repairing those issues using inclusive design principles, all from within the UDOIT interface. And I have a little 1-minute UDOIT overview video. Let's see if it will play if you click on it. And if you get the audio, I'm not sure. If it doesn't work, we can just skip it.
UDOIT is a Canvas course accessibility assistant.
Sorry.
Your course to find issues and then provides guidance to help you improve accessibility with ease. On the homepage, you'll find an interactive scorecard that helps you understand where to focus your efforts to make the biggest impact on accessibility. UDOIT will then guide you through the process of fixing accessibility issues in your course content, no expertise required. To help improve the accessibility of the files in your course, UDOIT provides the ability to generate alternate formats, including converting course files to much more accessible Canvas pages at the touch of a button. Replace inaccessible files wherever they are linked or embedded in the course. And even enable your learners to generate alternate formats that meet their needs. Take accessibility further in your Canvas course with UDOIT.
So that's exciting, and it kind of takes some of the intimidation off of us having to do all the work ourselves. UDOIT is there to do a lot of this for us. It will identify potential barriers to access, and it facilitates a really quick way to repair issues directly within Canvas. So it reviews content such as your assignments, discussions, Canvas pages, announcements, and any files that you've uploaded. It won't do like it won't add captions to videos and those types of things, but it will warn you if they're needed. It will look for alt text and heading structures and those types of things as well. So typical steps, Mark has a little screenshot there. This screenshot pertains to if you're not already seeing it in your navigation, which I'm going to show you in a second. If you're not seeing it there, this is what you would do to get to it. You would go to your settings and then enable the UDOIT app so that it'll be on your navigation keyboard or navigation menu, I should say.
Now we'll do a little demonstration about how to access UDOIT and run the scan. I'll pass it over to Lori.
All right, so, okay, in this course, it is already here on the navigation bar. If you're not seeing this navigation bar, you may have hidden it. So that's these little bars here. You can left click. And so here's UDOIT. And when you start it, it will automatically scan your course. And so it's loading, and I just ran it recently, so it should be pretty up to date. Over here on the right, I can also do a new scan if I haven't opened it for a while. And this is what your report looks like. And I'm going to go into that in more detail here in a minute, but just to show you, that's where you're going to find it on your dashboard or in your course.
All right, thank you, Lori. And so a little bit about that scorecard. So the scorecard provides you with an overall score, and you may have seen that during the demonstration. And when we go back and do a demonstration later on, you'll also see that as well. This is where the issues appear, and this is kind of your starting gate for going in and identifying and correcting those accessibility issues that are in the course. And it's just, it has a nice user-friendly interface for fixing those issues directly. So some of the common accessibility issues you're going to find when you run your UDOIT scan is you're going to find that some of the images are missing alt text. You'll have incorrect heading. You might have incorrect heading structure in terms of header 1, header 2, header 3, and we'll talk about that later. You might encounter some non-descriptive link text, course file issues. It'll identify, but it won't fix any video captions, videos that need captions, and it'll also identify color contrast. So in terms of fixing, and we'll start each one of these issues, the first one I want to talk a little bit about is alt text, and you might not be familiar with what that is. And alt text is describes for readers who don't have the ability to see the screen what the image is. And students who are using screen readers, they rely on this alt text so that they can understand images in your course. Now, it's important to understand in your course, the type of image that you might have. So if you have a flow chart or a diagram that understands process, or that outlines a process, that's conveying information or meaning, and that type of image would require alt text. Now, sometimes we like to decorate our course with images that do not add informational value, as you might have a picture of a flower or a famous painting, but this isn't an art class, it's an English class. So in that case, you can mark that image as decorative. And when you go in and you do the scan and you do it, there's a simple way of checking a box that will identify that particular image as decorative. So when somebody's going through in a screen reader and it comes upon an image, it'll tell them that this is decorative. As opposed to coming along to that flow chart and then having, the alt text under there. Another common accessibility problem is a descriptive link. And so links should describe where the user is going to go. So oftentimes you'll see, and I got my thumbs down here for if you have, in your course, click here for the syllabus. That doesn't describe to the learner where they're going to go. So that is not accessible, as well as just directly pasting the URL link. That's also not accessible, because when a screen reader hits that, it's going to read every single letter and character within that URL, and that could be distracting to the learner and the learning environment. So what you want to do is you want to make that a descriptive link. So you'll see at the bottom under the thumbs up where it says review the course syllabus, and that's a descriptive link because it tells the learner that they're going to the course syllabus. We talked about heading structure, and you may or may not be familiar with what that is. And headers are used to organize content. You may have seen that in a Word doc or a Google Doc, where it has the ability to insert headers. And you might think, oh, okay, that's a great way to organize my document, and it makes it look really nice. But it also allows screen readers to navigate that page. And at the heart of it, that's the most important part of heading structure in your documents, in your Canvas pages. And some common problems that will be flagged if you're not following heading structure is it might come across text that is bolded. So that's a common thing that you'll see within documents, where the document creator just bolded the text to serve as a header, but that's not telling the student with a screen reader that that's a title. Also skipping levels, and we'll talk about that hierarchy, but it confuses learners when it goes from a header 2 to a header 4, and then underneath that is another header 3, or for example. So you want to make sure that you're following that proper hierarchy and you're using the headers correctly. And you'll see on the right side of this slide the proper hierarchy. Now in Canvas, whenever you create a page or some other activity, it always has you name that particular page. That serves as the heading 1, which is the title page. So when you're going into that page or into that quiz or assignment and you're putting in text, you always want to start with the header 2. That's the main section of the page, and anything below that becomes a subsection or a subsection. And I believe the highest or the lowest that you will get is the heading 4, which is the subsection. If you need anything beyond that, I would say just go back and relook at the document and figure out a different order or different arrangement, because you shouldn't need anything beyond a header 4. And then making your files accessible. That's another thing that a UDOIT scan will identify. It'll rapidly scan any PDFs or Word files in your course to detect the potential accessibility issues. And then and then you have the ability to or your students, pardon me, have the ability to auto-generate alternative formats of that file and replace it. So that your PDFs are auto-tagged and they're not just a scanned image of the document. And so that way, when it's auto-tagged, then a screen reader hitting that PDF will be able to interpret its content. Also on a Canvas page or a file that you that you have outside of Canvas. So anything that would take you to, another Word, like a Word doc or a PDF that's not within Canvas. It will identify those as well. So we're going to take a little bit of a demonstration, and we'll take a few moments to transition over, and Lori will show you what we're talking about.
So I'm using your course as an example, fall 2025. I chose this one because I did a lot of the course design work, and I thought I was designing it with accessibility in mind, but I found out that it was only 81% accessible. So, that was kind of eye-opening for me. And this is what we're seeing as the scorecard. That's what we were mentioning. And there's the main area, shows you can start with the items that have the highest impact. And we have a 76% on those. So we could start there. Or over here on the right-hand side of this scorecard, we could start with the easiest to fix. If we only have a certain amount of time, we want to start with that. Or we could start with the high impact issues. So it's giving you some different options. You can also say, I just want to work on alt tags today, alt text. So you could do by issue type and select the type. So I could just choose color or whatever I want to work on and just do all those all at once. So you got a lot of options here on how you want to get started. I'm going to look at the high impact ones first. And this shows you exactly what the issue type is and how many violations you have or issues. So we have 5 links in here that have some issues. So what we do is just click on the link, and this shows us exactly what we're missing. It doesn't necessarily show me where it is in the course. It's inside a page. So these are links that we have put within a Canvas page, and these all have nondescript text. So we can click on this, and here's where it takes me to the spot that it's located in. So we just did a copy paste of this long, it's just the URL, but we copied and pasted. So what we could do, you could click on this and open it if you don't remember what it's about, or you can go here in this box and just do a revised. So we're going to do cms.gov. I'm going to choose something just like this, CMS article. I'll just copy that. I typed this in earlier, and that's why it's coming up. So that's more descriptive, and it's not going to read all of that gobbledygook text here. And then I need to, or I could just delete this link completely. So if I decide, yeah, I really don't need it, I can just click this box and it will delete it for me. But I'm going to go ahead and save that change. And then I don't have to go back to the scorecard. I can just do next issue. And because I'm working on link text, it will take me to the next spot. So this example is a link to a YouTube video. That doesn't tell you anything about really what the video is, except I added this text at the beginning. But this would get read out to the students. So I'm just going to copy this. So I already have it there. And I'm going to replace the YouTube text there and do a save. And now if they're doing it with the screen reader, it'll be a little redundant because it will read it twice, but at least it'll be descriptive. They'll know what they're going to. And the same thing with this next video. So that's how we could work on these links and make them, and it tells me it fixed it. So I have confirmation there that it's fixed. And now I'm going to just use the back button here and go back to my scorecard. And you do it. And so it's not showing me yet that I've fixed those because I would want to do a rescan. And then it would tell me, oh, my score's up because I fixed things. But back to high impact. And another really big one are these Word documents. We have 16 of them that have issues. Well, what kind of issues? Well, let's look and see. This particular one, it's missing a title element. So they don't know what the title of the document is. And then also it contains some images without alternative text. This particular document is really a little bit difficult to remediate because it is more like a infographic. So in this case, we're going to have to think a little bit harder on what we want to do to fix this. I did look at converting it to a Canvas page, and it was really messy. It was not what I wanted. So this one, I would probably ask Raylene to help me figure out how we could describe this and make it more accessible. So I'm just going to go to the next file. And this one is a document, and it is, let's see, no issues detected because I already fixed it. So I'm going to go to the next file. Table headers. So this particular document is, I believe, the syllabus. And so in one of our tables, probably the grading guide, something like, or a rubric, it doesn't have a header row on our table. So what I would do in this case is download it to my computer, do those revisions, and then replace the file with an uploaded file. And that would be a pretty easy fix to do. The other alternative would be to have it converted to a Canvas page, and then it will add those table headers and everything. I don't really want it as a Canvas page because I want students to be able to download that syllabus if they want to keep the hard copy. And there's not really a way to download Canvas pages easily. So this is one where I would just download it and fix it myself. You can also just say mark as reviewed. Like, I'm not going to mess with it. So I'm just going to mark that I reviewed it. I'm going to leave it. And I may have a 98% rate, but at least I fixed most of them. So that's what you do, is just kind of go through. And here's another, this was an old copy of the syllabus. So in this case, I could actually delete the file from the course. If this were my course, I'm not going to do it because it's not mine. But we could just already have Canvas delete it for us. And then we don't have to worry about that being inaccessible. So yeah, we would just go through each one of these, take a look at it. Here's another one where it's also another copy of the syllabus because we did revisions. So you're just going to have to kind of evaluate what you want to do here to fix things. Let's go back to, we do it here. I'm going to do the home page. That gets me back to my scorecard. And then we have some PDFs. These are going to be a little bit more tricky, but some of our options, let's look at this Civica one. File lacks tags needed for navigation by assistive technologies. So it's got some sections that aren't labeled, and so it would be difficult to navigate. So think about if it's a 20-page document and you are using the screen reader and you want to get quickly to page 10. And you don't want to have to scroll through all those pages to get to page 10. If we add these tags, it will allow them to use those tags to get right to the page that they want. Or say they just want to get right to the resource page. That will allow them to do that. So what I could do is let Canvas create a page. I don't really want that. I want it to stay as a PDF. So these are the ways that I can request. What I want it to do is create an auto tag PDF. So it will use its internal software to take my PDF, add those tags to it, and then allow me to replace it with that new tag. So I don't have to figure out, how do I add tags? What software do I use? I don't have to know any of that. I can just let it do the work for me. So I would just click request there, and it'll take a few minutes to generate it. Trying to remember, I think it will email it to me. Trying to remember if it emails it to me or if it shows up here, but we'll come back to that. I'm going to let it work in the background. And then we also had some videos here where it's flagging video captions. These are YouTube videos, and it's saying that the video captions that appear, they appear to be automatically generated and may contain errors. So now we have to kind of evaluate what we're going to do here. It looks like this second one, the video captions aren't even available for people to turn on. So you could contact the ITRC or Disability Services and say, what are my options for fixing these captions? If it's a YouTube video, that's more difficult because you don't have access to that. If it's a video that you've created and uploaded to Panopto, we have instructions in our Tiger Tracks on how you can go in and revise the captions and improve them and look for any words that were incorrectly captioned for you. So the YouTube videos are a little bit more tricky. Now, this one where there's just no video captions, what I would recommend is let's find a different video on the same topic that has correct captions and replace it. So some of these will take a little bit more thinking, some problem solving skills. This maybe isn't something that you could have your TA or GA do for you. You may have to do this so that you know exactly what content you need and what you're going to replace. So I'm going to go back to home. Once I have improved all of these, what I would probably do is do a scan now and see how I'm doing and see if I've missed any items here. I could also focus on these easiest to fix. Like say, I'm looking at this, I'm kind of overwhelmed. Let's do the easiest things first. And so again, this is the one that didn't have readable text, so I didn't know where it was going. This presenters view, presenters for week 12. This is a Canvas page. It's telling me the type. It's a Canvas page. And it's telling me I probably should have used some heading styles for the formatting instead of the way that I did it. And so I could go and review that. It'll take me right to that document and show me, it's telling me, oh, you should be using some heading styles. This is left over from something that was brought in from Moodle. I happen to know that because I added it. And so I'm actually not even using this anymore. And so I could just elect to remove that from Canvas because it's not necessary to have anymore. So manual resolution. I could confirm that it's been reviewed and then I can go back later and just delete it out of the course since I don't need it. Here again is that link that's not descriptive. So I've already shown you how you could fix that. This to me seems pretty descriptive. I mean, it's healthcare.gov and it's the glossary. So I think what I would do in this case is just say, I want to confirm that it's been reviewed and it's okay. Because I wouldn't really change anything by saying it's healthcare.gov glossary. So we'll leave that the way it is. So it's just a matter of taking some time and going through. The nice thing is if you only have, say, half an hour and you work on some of these, you forgot where you laid off, not where you left off, not a problem. You can redo the scan. It will eliminate things you've already fixed and just flag the things that you haven't fixed yet. So it's just a really nice user interface. If you are uncomfortable doing this on your own, you can go to the IRC webpage and make an appointment with us through our scheduling software. And then you can come to the ITRC, sit down with us, or we can do it over Zoom. And we can walk through this for the first time with you and kind of hold your hand as you're doing this. And that's a service we're happy to provide. In addition to the Disability Services Office, depending on their staffing levels and their availability, they may also be able to help you with some of these things. But the ITRC is always there and willing to help you look at these. We want to make it as seamless as possible. Now, I want to say we're not going to do it for you. We don't have the staffing to do all of this for you, but we will get you started and help you kind of understand what this is and what you need to do, and help you get on the right road to fixing these. Maybe we'll just do one course together and then you could do the rest of your courses on your own. So some things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and we'll continue with our slides. All right.
Okay, and yeah, just to kind of reiterate something that Lori said, that it is the responsibility of the course instructor to kind of initiate this process. So, but I want you to understand that it's not just about making your course compliant. It's about doing what's best for all of your students so that they can access all of your content. And so that's an important thing to keep in mind. Yes, we want to stay compliant, but more importantly, we want all of our students to be able to benefit from the knowledge in your course. So initiate that out. If you have issues, contact the ITRC as Lori had stated. Also, just to reiterate, another thing is to, as I was doing this scan the first time, it's easy to miss that save button. And I know Lori had pointed that out. But just to reiterate, because the first time I went through, I didn't pay attention to that and I corrected the issue, went to the next, corrected the issue, went to the next, corrected the issue, went to the next, and nothing happened. So it's important to remember that you correct the information, you save it, and then you move on.
I did the same thing. So I'm glad you brought that up.
So don't feel bad if you do that.
Yep.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the future. So preventing accessibility issues, and these are some habits that you can do as you're moving forward in, let's say you get a new course assignment for you to create, or if you're going back and you're wanting to do some updates to an existing one, but you're creating new content. And that is to always just remember to add the alt text when inserting your image, and Canvas makes that pretty easy to do that. If you're having trouble generating that alt text, there are actually out on the web, there are websites that help you to generate alt text. What I've done is, because I think there is a character limit in there, and I don't remember if that's 150 or whatever, but there is a character limit in the UDOIT. And what I did was I took my alt text or my description and I put it through AI. I used ChatGPT and I said, write this in alt text, make it under 150 characters. It did a beautiful job and I just pasted that in. So that's another way that how you can use a simple trick just to speed things up for you. You also want to just remember as you're building new stuff in your course or building a new course, is to use the headers as you're building. And then if you come across a link that you want to insert in your course, go ahead and make sure that you make it a descriptive link and not just a click here. Avoid any kind of PDFs that you come along that are not scannable. And what you do is basically you just click on the PDF and you drag down, and if it highlights the text, then that means that it's able to be read by a screen reader. If it doesn't, then that's a scanned image of the PDF, basically a photograph, and people trying to access that with a screen reader would have no way to to benefit from that article that you put in there. And then just remember, as you're building it, to run these scans periodically. That UDOIT is always there, and you can always, as Lori demonstrated, you can rerun the scan over and over. And these small changes will greatly improve accessibility moving forward. The important part is first knowing and understanding accessibility, the compliance, doing the right thing for your students, but then incorporating these as habits as you move forward. And just some key takeaways, and these may have been some things we've already talked about, but UDOIT is a great tool to help you. It makes it so right now this elephant seems very big to you as you're worrying about every other thing that you have to do in your job. But with UDOIT, it makes that elephant just a little bit smaller. And remember, to just eat it one bite at a time. You don't have to, if you have 4 courses that need an accessibility checker, start with 1. If you have 1 course and that comes up with a lot of issues, take it, as Lori said in her demonstration, by the priority. And most of these accessibility errors, as you saw in the demonstration, are very easy to fix. And some of those issues might require, like with the files, with the Word documents, it might require some additional time, which that time is also good time to put in so that all your students can benefit from it. And again, I'm not going to get on my soapbox, but it's not about staying compliant. It's about doing the right thing to help your students. And here are some great resources that you can access. And you could see as we went through the different screens, up in the right-hand corner, there's another QR code. And again, that'll take you to the downloadable copy of this slide presentation, where you can click on some of these links. But webaim.org is a wonderful source, and you'll see these throughout the resources. And WebAIM is out of Utah State, a very early pioneer, but a champion of web accessibility. And they have a lot of information, resources, checkers, and whatnot to help you with your accessibility. We mentioned the ISU Disability Services. There's a link to the ada.gov if you have any questions or concerns specifically regarding the Title II regulations, and then a user guide for UDOIT. And then always remember, the ITRC is here to provide you with the technical assistance to help with the accessibility checking of your course. Great, and I think we've come to the end of our presentation, so we want to thank you so much for viewing. We have ruling, and I think I may have seen where you had to jump off, but if you're still on and you have any questions, we'll go ahead and take any questions.
Everything.
Hi. I don't have any question, but I just felt that, really appreciate ITRC and also Lori and Mark for your wonderful service, because I always, when I have any questions and I don't know, I just, Lori, would you please help me? So I just felt you're always our faculty's backup and support us for teaching. And then really, I want to say thank you so much. I'm sorry I was late because I have another meeting. So, but anyway, that's why I try to catch up with this. This is really useful and helpful, the information. So thank you.
Good. Thanks for everything. We're glad you got to join us. And as she asked, are we recording this? Yes, we are. So it'll be available on the CY.
Okay, great. I when I have time, I will watch that. Certainly, this is very helpful. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.